Imagine hearing these words from your own father. In this family, you don't count anymore. No yelling, no drama, just a cold, matter-of-fact delivery that hits like a brick. That's the moment everything flipped for me, turning hurt into a quiet revolution. We'd just wrapped up another pointless spat in the living room. It kicked off over nothing major, but escalated fast. My sister griped about how I wasn't pulling my weight around the house. Mom backed her up with a silent nod, and Dad sealed it with that brutal verdict like he was wrapping up a done deal. I didn't push back or make a scene. Instead, I just agreed with a nod, because right then, a switch flipped in my brain. If I was invisible to them now, that meant no more chains holding me down, no more chasing approval from folks who'd already written me off. That evening, I headed to my space, fired up my computer, and scanned through my daily grind, the endless list of favors I handled without a second thought. Things like sorting online payments, troubleshooting gadgets, grabbing supplies, tackling forms, or chauffeuring my folks to their checkups. All that behind-the-scenes effort that blended into the background, unseen and unappreciated. Right there, I chose to pull the plug. Not with fireworks or fury, but with a simple, understated exit. Come morning, Mom hit me up about handling the power bill digitally. I kept it cool. Can't right now, got stuff going on. Her eyes widened in shock. But you're the one who always takes care of it. Not this time, I replied. Then my sister chimed in, asking for a lift to her spot en route to my job. Plans changed, I said. She scrunched her face. Since when? Starting today. I stayed polite, kept my volume low, showed respect. But availability? That was off the table. For once, I channeled all that energy inward. I lingered longer at the office, diving deep into tasks I'd sidelined. Hit the weights consistently, signed up for that digital class I'd been delaying forever. Weekends became my escape. Out exploring instead of stuck indoors patching up everyone's messes. They barely registered it initially. But soon, cracks started showing. The web service got disconnected. No one thought to settle the account. Dad fumbled through some virtual forms he'd never bothered mastering. My sister blew a key appointment, banking on me for transport. These were minor hitches at first, but they snowballed quick. One night, Mom voiced her frustration. What's with the attitude shift? What attitude? I shot back evenly. Like nothing phases you anymore. I met her gaze steadily. I figured I wasn't on the radar anyway. Silence fell. She knew exactly where that came from. The whole crew did. Now they were tasting the reality of my irrelevance, and it stung. They brushed it off as a temporary glitch at the start. You've got some bug, my sister muttered one evening as I breezed by her battling the modem. I shrugged it off. You'll sort it. She gawked, stunned, since I'd always been the fix-it guy, jumping in unprompted, ungerthanked, unnoticed. But now, I was out of the equation, not gone from the house, just detached from the duties. Dad gave it a shot next, barging into my room with a pile of docs. These need uploading by tonight. On a deadline here, I muttered, eyes glued to my screen. He hovered, expecting the usual handover. It didn't happen. This was your thing, he pressed. Back when I factored in, I answered without heat. He backed out wordlessly. That's when it dawned. My contributions had been wallpaper, only missed once peeled away. Weeks dragged on like that. The place transformed, lagged behind, chaotic. Tiny issues piled into mountains because proactive habits weren't their style. Food stocks dwindled faster. Payments lagged with fees. Slots got skipped. My sister turned to folks next door for the petty assists she'd once offloaded on me. Me? I held the line, no resentment bubbling up, no agendas to push, just funneling my drive into spots that paid dividends. My career picked up steam, concentration sharpened without the home drain. Bosses spotlighted my output, stuff I'd hurried through before amid mental fog from family loads. Paychecks grew, knowledge expanded, rest improved. One quiet dusk, Mom slipped into my room. Holding a grudge against us? I glanced up softly. Nah. Then explain the wall you've built. I pondered briefly. No wall, just boundaries. She perched on the mattress edge. Family means being there, no questions. A soft grin crossed my face. I assumed I was sidelined here. Her expression hardened. Your father didn't intend it that way. Sounded pretty direct to me. No comeback followed. She recognized this wasn't a one-off slight. They'd long viewed me as surplus in our shared space. This was merely my debut at opting out over overcompensating. Later that night, muffled voices filtered from their bedroom. Not heated, not theatrical, but altered. They were hashing out my past inputs for the first time. Not from missing my company, but the ease I'd provided. Oddly, that insight didn't wound. It illuminated. Days later, a tap at my door. Sister. Need a hand? With? She paused. Online form submissions. I considered. I can walk you through it. Frown lines deepened. Why not handle it? Quick job. I save that for those who see my value, I said levelly. But teaching? Sure. She eyed me long, then agreed grudgingly. First instance, she'd tackled something solo that she'd habitually dumped my way. Eye-opener. They'd confused kindness with duty, constancy with guarantee, dedication with vulnerability. Gradually, truth sank in, that none held water. No need for raised voices or clashes. Shifting my focus did the trick. Abruptly, they sensed the void of what they'd overlooked in plain sight. About 4 weeks in, Dad summoned me to the front room. Voice subdued, different vibe. Let's chat. I settled opposite. Mom and Sis sat mute, out of character, throat clear from him. Shouldn't have dismissed you like that. I held steady, absorbing. We overlooked your heavy lifting, Mom whispered. Assumed you were just there. Head bob from me. Exactly. And that bred issues. Glances swapped. Sis piped up hesitantly. It's tougher without your backup. Slight smile. Not from lack of heart on my end. You just never clocked the silent load I bore. Awareness thickened the air. No bitterness here, I added. But old patterns? Done. Aid on my terms, not autopilot. Involved, but not the sole carrier. Slow nods all around. Shift occurred. Not instant adoration, but grasp of my withdrawal's weight. And me? Gained wisdom. When undervalued, debating rarely wins. Retreat. Let the gap speak volumes. If stories like this spark your interest, real tales of turning points and self-empowerment, hit subscribe on Revenge Chance. We dive into these every week to keep you inspired. That pivot reshaped us, boundaries held but connections mended on fairer ground, proves that sometimes pulling back isn't quitting, it's reclaiming. And in families, recognizing worth before it's withdrawn? That's the real key. What about you? Ever faced a similar wake-up? Drop thoughts below, and don't forget, subscribe to Revenge Chance for more eye-openers like this. Thanks for watching.